So where's that line between setting the desire versus, being needy?
Yeah. So there's always like there's always two sides to the coin. So when we're talking about money, for example, like manifesting more money, there's always like, okay, I have the desire to manifest more money or to watch my bank accounts grow. And so there is the energy of excitement, joy, and gratitude of actually like, oh my gosh, I am so grateful to watch my bank accounts grow each and every week. It's amazing. Versus the energy of lack, which is like,
Mm,
really, really need some money. I really want to see that money show up. Like, I could
yeah,
really use some money. Got to pay them bills. And so
man.
there's like I said, there's two sides of every coin. There's the having, and then there's the lack of it. And so I was actually just working with one of my students, and she's, if you're familiar with real estate, she's a wholesaler. And so what she does
Hmm.
is she gets properties under contract, and then she rehabs and flips them. Um,
Right.
and she was like, she reached out to me, and she's one of the people that I send my gratitudes to. And so I send her
Hmm.
my gratitudes, she sends me her gratitudes back, and in her gratitudes at the end she's like, I'm really struggling because I'm praying and I'm meditating, but I've been working with this buyer, and I'm sorry, I've been working with this seller because I want to buy his house for the last 6 months, and we can't close, and like I can't seem to get him to close on this deal. And I've been doing all the things, and I don't know, like I'm trying to stay positive, but it's been really difficult for me. And then I asked her about it. I'm like, tell me about that a little bit. Like, let's dig a little bit deeper. And she's like, I've been meditating, I've been praying. And I'm like, okay, well, when you think about this, you need to switch your energy about it. Instead of thinking about this and feeling the lack, feeling the worry, feeling the stress of like, oh my God, like that pit in your stomach of like like darn it, like this contract's still not this house is not under contract, I still haven't closed it, like I wonder if this is going to happen, like that feeling of insecurity. I'm like, stop feeling that and start feeling the excitement and the joy and the celebration of already having closed that contract and having that deal under contract. And she's just like, okay. I'm like, and she's like, well, how do I do that? And I'm like, well, the first thing that you can start doing is writing out affirmations. And I didn't want to give her all the affirmations at first. I'm like, well, you write your affirmations out. Let me see what you
Hmm.
write. And then I can kind of see like where she's at, like where her headspace is at and what her affirmations look like. And like, so she wrote me some like pretty good ones, but they were not all in present or past tense. And the reason why that's so important, if you're saying like in her example about like closing the house, she's like, I'm so excited that we're going to close this house soon. And it's just like, no, stop saying that. Say like, I am so happy and so grateful that we've already closed this property with ease. I am so grateful that we had a lovely day. We had a lovely afternoon at the title agency signing all the contracts, and that my husband Richie and I were able to go out to lunch afterwards to celebrate closing this contract. I am such an incredible wholesaler. I radiate confidence and certainty to every seller I speak to. I attract high equity houses with sellers that are eager to close within days of meeting me. And I went through like a whole list. And the
Hmm.
exciting part is that 6 days later, she calls me up and she's like, Lucy, you're never going to believe this. I'm like, what? What's up? And she's just like, I closed on the house. She's like, I've been trying to close on the house for 6 months. She's like, every single day for the past 6 days, I've been reading your affirmations out loud. And she's like, we just closed and we just signed the paperwork today. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. So that's why I get so excited about doing this, because not only do I get to like celebrate my wins, but I get to celebrate all of the wins for all of my students and kind of like just
Yeah.
help them tweak their perspective or tweak the way they're doing things, and make those shifts so that way they're able to essentially manifest the life of their dreams.
Right. And I find this topic so interesting because even in my own personal life, I always try to think in terms of abundance instead of scarcity. And it always ends up somehow, you know, life always has ups and downs. And it's somehow, when you think in abundance, you think with positivity, things start to work out and you start to think differently. And I find that, you know, it's almost like you're you're putting this energy into the world that you are grateful, you are okay where you are, right? And even if you're in a tight financial spot, thinking in terms of abundance, eventually, something works out, something catches up to you. I even experienced that in my own life. But yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing more than what you've said is incredibly powerful, right? The idea of how you manifest something is in order to just almost think as though it's already occurred. And even I think this works. A beautiful example is sales, is when you're needy, it's almost
Yeah.
off-putting,
It's
right?
like a repellent.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
what are you trying to sell me? I don't want your thing, right? But if you're like, hey, this is my expertise, this is what I advise. If you and actually, even better examples, I've even done podcast episodes where, and I've seen the difference when somebody's constantly talking about their book or constantly trying to sell something on the show versus somebody who just kind of shares their advice. And like at the end, they're like, hey, I help people. If you're interested, just let me know. And then there's like, one is like, okay, they don't need my money, they're here to help, and it almost shows, right? And that, I think that works
When
perfectly
you
with
show
sales.
up, yeah, when you show up from an energy of service, it's totally different than an
And
energy
abundance.
of neediness. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
so powerful. Like when you shift your perspective and be like, okay, how can I serve? How can I give back? Like people feel that and that resonates with them. And honestly, it just feels so much better. It feels incredible. And you know that you're helping people all over the world. And that's what's so exciting.